So what I'd like to talk about right now is what it means to be somebody who is a catalyst or somebody who is here to shake things up. And there's a lot that needs to be said about this because it's not being said. And this goes for men and women. There are men like this, just fewer men, maybe. But there are people in this world who are here just to change it, just to shake things up and change it. And one of the most common ways that you'll see that being done is when someone points out something in someone else and says, okay, so going by what you've said and going by what you're doing, you are probably coming from a place of blah, 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 hurt feelings, feeling disempowered, feeling done wrong, feeling defeated, feeling unloved, feeling unheard, whatever. Like you figure out somebody's pain point, basically, and you bring it to their attention. It's like being a therapist, except you don't get paid for it. Well, I kind of do, but I mean, I'm not a therapist, but, I get paid for what I do. But, especially if it's somebody, like if you're at a party or a get-together or something, or you're dating somebody, and it's you're not getting anything in return for it. It's just you're just doing your job on this planet, right? Like you've been sent here to make a change. And this also especially goes for people who are breaking the generational patterns in their families, because people like that, us, we have a hard time because we have to start all over again from scratch with family members and choose, because you piss people off when you point out things and say, look, this is what's been going on, it's wrong because it's doing such and such type damage and it needs to fucking change. And people don't want to hear that because they don't want to change, because they like what they do, because they're comfortable in what they do, because they're familiar with it. And they don't want change because they don't want to have to look at themselves, because if they look at themselves, they're looking into the deep abyss. And God forbid, you can't look into the deep abyss because that's scary, because anything can happen there, because everybody's been taught to be afraid of themselves. This is, this manifests in a million different ways in the physical realm with people's behavior and shit. And when your job is to put a stop to that shit, or at least maybe not so much put a stop to it, I can't say that because you can't control what other people do so much, but when your job is to bring it to fucking light and point it out and say, now look, A, B, and C, what are you going to do about it? And people have a shit fit, and they have a Hall of Fame hissy fit, and they don't like that, and they tear your ass up for it, and you just have to go about your life like, oh, well, la-di fucking da, I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. And you continue to do that, and you go throughout your life pissing people off, not intentionally to piss them off per se, because that's not what your heart is set on. Your heart is set on making things right. Your heart is set on making things right. But you make people angry because you're pointing out things that just have to be looked at. This is especially true for women who are on the borderline of dark feminine / femme fatale. And what that is, like, regular femme fatale would be like a woman who gets involved, like when she gets involved with men, it doesn't benefit the man, like on the surface. It makes his life hard, and she brings hardship to him, possibly, and he has a lot of, things go wrong for him or whatever, but he's obsessed with her, and he's swept away by her, and is hooked on her, and like a drug, and he can't let go of her because, she's so amazing, but at the same time, it makes his life hard. Femme fatale. So and then the dark feminine, which would just be teaching people things, or kind of bringing the attention to things that people don't want to talk about or whatever, or they'll preach on things that people don't want to talk about. So the type of women, and men, but especially women that I'm talking about, are right on are straddling the line between those two things. And the reason I say that is because my romantic partners over the years, they, especially after I had my son, something happened after I had a baby, and it awoken something in me that like gave me a lot more power, and I didn't realize it at the time. But looking back, I see now what happened. I don't know how to I don't know what I would call it. It was just like some kind of an awakening. But the men that got involved with me after that, there was a part of me that like had more insight and more understanding, or understanding, if you will, and more intuition and insight into things, and especially men. And my partners, my romantic partners, would get mad at me because I would see things in them, and I saw shit myself too. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I wouldn't sit there and dissect my own bullshit, because I did. I've found out a lot about myself over the years. Like, for example, I had one boyfriend who was telling me about how his parents split when he was little, and that his favorite holiday was Christmas. He claimed to be pagan. I wouldn't call him pagan. I don't think he's falls under that category. I think he's unsure, like agnostic or something like that. But he called himself pagan. But anyway, I knew better. I just didn't argue with him on that stuff because it wasn't worth it. But I will say that he talked a lot about the anguish that the divorce brought him as a child, and shit like that. And that all made sense. All of it made sense. He didn't say anything that was like, oh, that's not, like it all added up, matching to his behavior as an adult. And I said, he was telling me about Christmas one time, and I was like, but we're pagan. Why are you so worried about like Jesus stuff? And he was like, well, I don't know, just, Christmas time is just so good, family get together and stuff and blah, blah. And I said, didn't your parents split when you were little, though? Yeah. And I said, I get it now. The reason you love Christmas so much is because that was the last time, because you're remembering the last Christmas that all of y'all sat around together as a family when things were still normal before it all went to shit. And you're loving Christmas because you're wanting to have that, which is a totally human experience, a totally human thing. So it's not like I was accusing him of something that was like, no one else in the world has ever done. That's not it. But I was noticing something in him that is very humanoid, humanesque, and very normal and practical, and made sense. Because I've noticed shit in myself that made sense like that. And I mean, my parents never split, but I mean, I understood what he was saying. Like, it made sense. And he did not like that. And he didn't like that. He didn't have a fit or whatever about it, but I mean, like, he denied it. It was like, no, it's not that. It's gotta be something else. It's gotta be something else. I said, it's gotta be something else? But, like what? Like fucking what? Like fucking what? What else is it? If you know so much about yourself, I'll sit back and you tell me what it is. You're the expert. Go ahead. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just thought, stupid. I got away from him anyway. I had to go to the courthouse to do it, but I got away from him. That took a no contact order, but I did eventually get rid of him. But he was a doozy. So, but my point is, and then I had another boyfriend who, come to find out, was not getting a divorce after all. It's not the guy that I usually mention who falls under that same category, but this is somebody else. So the somebody else, he wasn't leaving his wife after all, and it's the same reason the rest of them don't leave. They don't have the courage. They don't have the courage. They just don't have the courage. They're afraid of these women because they know, well, when they split, the woman is gonna be cutthroat. The wife is gonna be cutthroat, and she's gonna do. And she may have her own reasons for that. I don't know. But one way or another, when it comes down to it, bottom line is it boils down to she's going to be cutthroat in the divorce, and she's going to get everything she fucking can from him, and he doesn't want to lose all that shit, whether it was money or the house or whatever, or the children or somebody he can just easily screw at home whenever he wants, or whatever benefit he's got that he doesn't want to go without, all of a sudden, that's why he's not divorcing her, because he's afraid of her, and he's afraid of what's going to happen. He's afraid of the consequences of not having a woman at home, because then he's got to start all over again and, like, reel someone else in to come live with him and take care of him. And it's all got to start all over again. All that work has got to start all over again. So they don't get divorced because it's too much of a loss for them. Whereas a lot of women, especially right now, are saying, well, fuck this shit. I'll starve before I, get hit again. And they're just leaving with nothing. They're willing to leave with nothing and just start all the fuck over. And they do. And they do. I see it all the time. It's not, this isn't a video game. Like, it works. It happens and it works. But in their case, they're afraid of these women because the ones who have somebody at home jumping through hoops of fire, and then they've got the girlfriend on the side who's not supposed to know about it. That's a weak man anyway. He's weak anyway. So when he's too weak to leave the wife for the girlfriend or what have you, there's a lot of fear back there, stuffed behind that door. And the girlfriend, when she does find out, like I did, she can either stay and tough it out, or she can say, "Nah, this is bullshit," and just get out. And I kind of lost my patience with it, and I said, "Ah, this is bullshit," and I quit talking to him. And he had the nerve to tell me, "You got a lot of fucking nerve." And I said, what? I said, "You fucking what?" Or as they say here in Pell City, "Do what?" And that's just like, I have a lot of nerve. So they'll say shit like that, and they say like big balls stuff to make you think that they're on top of the situation and that you stand to lose. And I didn't, because I didn't stand to lose a goddamn thing. I had lost Dad, so there was no bigger loss than that at that time. So no boyfriend was going to say anything that was going to scare me. I had already been put to the test. But so I said, I said, the fact that all of y'all are afraid of your fucking wives and you're going to go out and feel powerful with some girl who doesn't know any better because you won't fill her in on your situation. And then when she figures it out and says you're weak and you're scared of your wife, and then you get pissed off, this is your problem. This is your problem. It's not my problem, because I'm going to go on and just get another boyfriend if I fucking want one, and you're going to have to sit there and go home and deal with her ass. Whether she's in the fault or not, whether she's in the wrong or not, I have no idea, because I will never get her story, I suppose. But, your weakness is getting in your way to the point where you're sabotaging yourself with every move you make, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. So, women sabotage themselves by giving up on themselves. And men sabotage themselves by trying to have it all. Trying to have it all of it. So, in a nutshell, like if I had to tell someone if aliens came to this planet and was like, "So what's going on?" That's what I would say. Like I was like, well, if I have to, really boil it, if I have to simplify it, like water it down as much as possible, that's what I would say. So, yeah. And what I need you to understand about that is that because there are people who say shit like that to bring something to somebody's attention, and then there's this little blow up argument or whatever about it, and then the person who is here to do the enlightening, walks away, possibly, if they're not confident yet about what they're doing, possibly with their head down and not wanting to do that again, not wanting to incite another riot and shit like that. And what I'm here to tell you is that no matter how hard this job gets, if any of this sounds like you, no matter how hard this job gets, you have to keep going, and you have to keep pushing, and you have to keep doing it, because that's why you're here. It doesn't matter if you piss people off, because mark me, in 10 fucking years, once you're long gone out of their life, and whether it was a friend or a boyfriend or whoever, or a relative that you're no longer talking to, or a manager, it doesn't matter. Anybody who you impacted like that, if you piss them off enough, they're going to remember you. And I'm sure they'll be good and pissed off because you're pointing out something that nobody else has the balls to tell them about. Somebody's got to have the balls to tell them. If you need me to bring you a wheelbarrow to carry them around, I will. But somebody's got to do it. Someone has to do this job. So when you incite, or not incite, but like when you awaken the underlying fear or the hidden fear or whatever in somebody who is trying to act like they've got it all together, but really they're afraid of you because you're bringing out something in them that they don't want to deal with. And it's just as bad with women. I'm talking about boyfriends because it's the first thing that came to my mind, but it's just as bad with women. I've had women who I had no idea were afraid of me, who I had no idea hated me like they did. No fucking idea. And you won't know because they're so good at acting and they're so good at pretending to be your fucking friend. And women will complain about men doing that, you know, that they had no idea he had a second family and shit like that. Well, second family is a bit over the top, but it doesn't really compare. But the acting and the pretending and the covering up, they're both good at it. They just do it in different ways, but they're both good at it. And women do it. See, men do it to us. They won't do it to each other. They'll support each other no matter what. But women are doing it to each other, and this is another thing that they love because it helps them when they squirt at the thought of us tearing each other down because that's what they want to see. That's just what they want to see. They want to see us crumble, but not before we get raped. So, not before they get a chance to screw us. But that being the status quo or whatever, what I want you to remember is that when women do it to each other, we're bringing down all of humanity. Men bring down humanity when they do it to us too, but women doing it to each other, that is the divine feminine turning on itself. And especially when you're talking to women, if you're a woman and you're in the job position I'm in and you're here to bring shit to people's attention whether they like it or not, you can only do it so much with men because they're not going to listen for different reasons. Well, some of the same reasons, but with them, we can't unite with them right now. This isn't a good time for that. It's not going to happen for a while. There's a lot that has to be hashed out and a lot that's got to be ironed out and a lot that has to be fought out and fought over and gone to war about with each other before we can settle on helping them, because we've tried that and it's not working. So you have to drop that for right now. And I want you to just focus on other women, and I want you to notice the shit that they do to each other, especially when they're feeling threatened by somebody who they pretend is a friend of theirs, because they will do that. And it's been done to me 10,000 times. So many girls who I thought were my friend, and come to find out the whole time it was some kind of Olympic competition over who was the fucking best. Bitch, at what? At what? At fucking what? At what? At what? What? Do you see what I mean? Like, that's so dumb. The better at what? What, having more friends? Getting more attention from men? You know, babies and dogs get sexual attention from men as well. So, I don't know where you're going with that. Like, I don't know why that's so important to you, but shit like that, you know, or God forbid, you know, if you're at work together and it's trying to get the boss, trying to be like buddy with the boss or something like that, or a woman who's like trying to know everybody or be friends with everybody and like be in everyone's circle and have it all covered, you know, that somebody like that, when you say, and they'll project that shit too. Men do the projecting too, they just do it differently, but when women do it, it's they say shit to you that they need to be saying to themselves, and they do it men will just do it like in an outright violent way, like you can tell that they're hating on you, whereas women will do it in a condescending, sneaky way, and they sound like they're trying to help you, but they're doing it in such a goddamn disrespectful way, in a condescending way where they're talking to you like you're fucking stupid. And and I've had it done to me. So as much as I'm, you know, may fall under the category of feminazi at this point, all because I'd like us to not get killed for saying no. I'd like for that to change. That's okay. Which I suppose makes me a feminazi. But as much as I lean towards that, I still am completely well aware of the shit that they do to each other, and I'm not for it. It's not on at all. And we have got to quit stabbing each other in the back. It just has to stop. And I did another video about this a week or so ago, women's feelings are hurt. And another video before that, a week or two before that, which was Women Get Your Shit Together. If you would go look at those, you can look at that. You can go on my YouTube and find all that stuff. It's easier to find it there than on Instagram. I go live on Instagram for this stuff, but I always save these videos and put them on YouTube as well. So, but yeah, if you want to go on YouTube and look for that, have at it, because it's got to be said, and especially with women, the world recovering is going to rely on us. It's going to rely on us. It's up to us. We have to set a good example, and we have to make the right choices, and we have to do the right thing, and we have to continue taking care of people, and to live a wholesome life, but to take care of ourselves as well, and dare I say, put ourselves first. All that shit has to be done, and it's got to be done by us, because no one else is coming to save it. So, aliens aren't coming down here to save it, you know. It's going to be up to us to do the right thing and to fix this shit. Even though it wasn't really our fault because we haven't been in control, it's on us now. And, so, that being the case, especially when you're confronting women about things that their feelings are hurt about, like feeling inadequate or feeling threatened, you know, or some other woman is doing better than them. Because I've said this before, there are women who come into the room and look at all the other women in the room, and each one by one, she sizes them up and says, okay, now what does this bitch have that I don't? Okay, well, I'll sort her ass out. Well, this one's fatter than me. I don't got to worry about her. Nobody's looking at her. Okay, this one, she's blonde. All right, well, we'll see what else is going on with her. And this one, okay, so she's educated. She's a nurse practitioner. Oh God, I don't know how I'm going to compete with that. Okay, I'll take her out somehow. And, you know, and there are women who really and truly act that way, who really and truly think that way. They may not reveal it, but they'll fucking do it. They'll fucking think that way. And let me tell you something. If that's you, it's not helping you. And women like me, it's our job to pull that out of you and bring it to your attention and say, look, this is what you need to quit fucking doing. And it's a really hard job because it's lonely, and for those of us who like to socialize a lot and have a lot of friends, and get on with people and all that kind of shit, you know, this is a lonely ass life. This can be really just solitary because people don't want to hear that kind of shit, and the only people who are going to understand you are people who, for 9 times out of 10, chances are going to be in the same damn position you're in. Same kind of, you know, purpose, soul purpose or whatever. And that's it. And that's going to be about the only crowd that understands you or appreciates you. And there's going to be people that appreciate you who aren't doing what you're doing, but, you know, they have to already be vibing, you know, pretty well, to be receptive to you, you know. And the feminine especially has got to be receptive because, like I said in the last video, the feminine, among many other things, is the ocean. So when you throw something in, it just sinks to the bottom. Or you lose something in the ocean, it's lost forever. It's gone. It's in there somewhere. You know, and that's it. That's it. So that being part of what you are, it would help to use that feature of yourself to be open to somebody who is pointing something out in you that hurts you and is being brought to light. It's just got to happen for your growth and for your expansion and for your insight into yourself and the understanding of yourself. If you want to take back your power and be some powerful badass bitch, you know, and everything else, if you think you're such a fucking hotshot, why don't you learn about yourself a little bit and understand yourself better and take back your power in a real way and have real and true personal power, which is knowing your fucking self. You know, some of these women think they're such fucking badasses because they did whatever it took to get some man, you know, that they think everyone else wants. They tell themselves, everyone else wants my man, but goddamn it, I got him. Well, good for you, girl, damn. Shit. Have him. No one cares. Like, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but it's just, that has to be said. And that's what I mean about straddling the dark femme and the femme fatale at the same time. It's like, you're right in between, you're right in the middle of that. You're saying shit that's got to be said, and you're doing things that have got to be done, and you bring into light shit that's got to be brought to light, come hell or glory. But it hurts. It hurts, and it causes upheaval, and it causes uproar, and it causes hurt fucking feelings to come to the surface and you know, rear their ugly heads. It just, shit happens. It's got to be done. So if you're one of these people, I just don't want you to feel bad about it, because you have to do it. And you can't hang your head after an argument with somebody when you try to point something out and they don't want to fucking see it, and they just like explode or whatever, and y'all are just yelling at each other for 2 hours. Don't hang your head after that, because you have a job to do. And it's going to be the same shit tomorrow. It's going to be the same shit when you open your eyes tomorrow. You're going to be the same goddamn person doing the same fucking job, doing the same fucking sole purpose. So there's no use in feeling bad about what you're doing. That is the dark feminine. That is the really true dark feminine. So, and I'm actually, I need to take some notes on it. I'm trying to decide if I want to do a video course on this or if I want to write it. I might write it, because even though I like doing videos, I can organize my thoughts better if I write stuff down and do like, you know, pamphlets for y'all to read, or like little mini ebooks or something for y'all to read. And I think I'm going to do that. And, sorry. And the dark feminine, that is a big thing that needs to be explored and understood and appreciated and used for good. There are people out there who are ready for your message, and that's why you can't stop. That's why you can't give up. Even if, and the bottom line is not to get people to change, because you're not going to be able to do that, because you can't control whether or not they change. That's not, you can't control that part. All you can control is what you've put out there. And that's it. Once it's out of your mouth, that's it. You know, it's like a spell. Once you say it, and once you do the spell and it's over with and you forget about it, it's out there. And it's going to do its job, and it's going to do its little work, and that's going to be it. Done. Done deal. Whatever happens after that happens. You know, some client comes to you and says, I need so-and-so out of my life. They're driving me nuts. They're harassing me. They're hurting my children. They're blah, blah, whatever. If it's like really bad, you know. And you say, well, shit, I'll do a spell to get them out of your way, but can't promise what's going to happen. I'm just going to say they'll be out of your life. I can't control. Like, if you need a blockage put to where that person no longer is in your life, I can do it. I'm just saying, I don't know if they're going to end up in the hospital or in prison for the rest of their life or whatever, but something. It's going to be something. And that's what I mean. Your job is to just do what you're doing. Like, just, and especially with bringing things to light and bringing things to people's attention. Let's say you and your family members have like some big blow-up argument or whatever over y'all being different, or you're pointing out something that has been passed down through the generations that you can obviously see like with your fucking eyes because you're not a dumbass, and and you're arguing with your parents or your grandparents about passing down that pattern that is not doing y'all any good, and y'all have your little blow-up fight, and then, you know, it's all forgotten and swept under the rug like it never happened and shit like that, and then y'all have to, like, you know, go about your ways. Even if that person doesn't change, which they probably won't because they think they're perfect, even if that person doesn't change, it's not going to matter, because the example that you set, you setting a better example is the whole point of the entire thing. That's the whole point. So it doesn't matter if they don't change. Especially if you have children, you know that you're going to set a different example for them, and that they're not going to suffer the same kind of shit you suffered. And that's the whole point of being the catalyst and being the person who's making the difference. So not so much worrying about how it's received, what you're doing, and how it's received, but just the fact that what you're putting out there is fucking worth your while. You know, and that's it. So your job on this planet to, you know, turn things around and transmute this shit and make it better. Don't worry about the people who are going to talk to you condescendingly or argue with you outright, or, you know, cut you out of their lives, or get their feelings hurt in some other way and do something. You know what? Fuck them. It doesn't matter, because you have a job to do. And your job is going to be more impactful than theirs, because what you're doing is you're trying to change humanity. I don't like to act like there's people who are like superior to other people. You know, I don't like that kind of a thing. I don't think it's fair, because everybody has their purpose and everybody has their thing that they contribute to this world. But there are some people who just, aren't doing anything good for anybody, and, may not have a lot of friends, or may not have a lot of people who like them or trust them or whatever. And then there are people who, like the groups I'm talking about, who are here to, make things better. And they do have people who trust them, and they do have people who love them, and they do have people who count on them and rely on them for guidance and shit like that. And if that's you, if you're in that group, all I can say is just keep going. Just keep going. Every damn day you're going to start it all over again. All over again until you die. Because you're here to make the difference. And like I say, whether they change or not doesn't matter. Just because you have a blow-up argument with one person about them doing bad patterns or whatever, and like you don't want it to continue, just because y'all have some argument and they don't change doesn't mean that you're not going to talk to somebody different the next day who's going to soak in every single word you said. Because that's a possibility. Anything's possible, so long as you talk enough and get your message out. That's why the internet is so important right now, because there's so many people online who need to hear what you've got to say. You may as well fucking say it. Get some account, online. And if you want to be anonymous, be anonymous. So what? You don't have to post pictures of yourself or whatever, or do videos. If you just want to type stuff and post on Facebook or some shit, then do that. Or if you want to do a fucking live video and put a piece of electrical tape over the camera, then do that. They don't have to know what you look like. It's not like people are so afraid to step into this job. You can't be afraid to step into this job. It's too late now, bro. You're here. You're already here. You're gonna have to wade through this shit with the rest of us. Sorry. So you may as well just accept your responsibility and take it for what it is and just make the best of it. It's like getting pregnant, it's a done deal now. So I'm not trying to be a bitch. I just mean it's done now. Signed, sealed, delivered. And that's it. And it has taken me years, and I mean years, to accept this about myself. It has taken me so long to accept this about myself, and to accept that I'm a catalyst for change, and that I'm somebody who is here to make a difference and make waves for people. Maybe not everybody, but to make a difference for the people who care and for the people who are listening. And that's okay. And even if just one person is listening, that's okay. If I go all my life doing all the work I'm doing and only one person got my message, and only one person sat and meditated on the shit I said, that's fine. That's fine. Because I made a difference for one fucking person, and one person's life is worth it. If I make a change for them, or make them, see themselves in a better light, then my job is done. My work is done. And it's fine. Hopefully that would be my own son, but in case it's not, it could be anybody, but I'd be satisfied because I know I've done my job, and that's, I'm fine with that. So, with as difficult and as lonely and shit like that this kind of life is, I'd rather do this than not be doing it. I'd rather do this than just be kind of like floating along, not knowing myself, not being able to tap into others, not having insight into people, I would still rather have this. Because this is not superficial, and it's not surface level shit, and it's not fake shit, and it's not, parading around bullshit stuff. I live, for a reason, and I have a purpose. And as much as I get, hatred for it, especially from, I get hatred from men because they can't shut me up, but I get hatred from women too, who, I think women can't stand me because they think I'm doing something that they wouldn't get away with. They think I'm doing something that they would never be able to do, and they can't fucking stand it. And they're looking at it wrong, because women think that we're all supposed to be doing the same thing, and we're all supposed to be able to do the same things and have the same skills, and we're all supposed to be able to cook good and sew good and take care of babies good, and know how to clean a house top to bottom and know how to be what everybody needs all the time in any given moment, and you switch roles and switch identities, and we're all supposed to know how to take care of a man and make men happy, and we're all supposed to know how to make people happy no matter what's going on, and we're all supposed to be everybody's therapist, and we're all supposed to be, and it's just like the list goes on and on and on. And because we all think that we're all supposed to do all those things and be good at it and be satisfied with that, that leaves little room for somebody who is doing something totally fucking different. Women who don't do feminine stuff, like women engineers, or women athletes or wrestlers, or women truck drivers, or whatever. Somebody who's like tomboyish or whatever the fuck, or something like that. There's somebody who's like coloring outside the lines. Oh yeah, she's a little bit weird. I don't know. She might be a lesbian. Oh fucking well. Okay, if she is, she is. So what? So like. And then somebody like me comes along who just like really points something out and says, hey, I think you're feeling that way because remember when you said blah, 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 and so did this and this to you? I think you probably have, that's part of your wounded masculine because blah, 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 blah. And I have the same problem with my dad, so I know how that feels. And if you ever want to talk about it, and before I even finish that sentence, they're already like at my throat with a knife. So, and that's just how it is. And that's just how it is. But it doesn't fucking matter because, I almost said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I still say what I'm going to say. I'm still going to upload this to YouTube. I'm still going to have more subscribers and followers, and I'm still going to run my fucking mouth until the end of my life because I'm doing it for a reason. I have a job here, but it's taken me this long to accept it. I didn't come out like this. I wasn't like 2 years old and was sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm going to change the goddamn world. I don't think I'm going to change the world per se now. I don't see myself that way. If I was going to change the world, I'd have to touch the life of every single person, right? Or at least, half the population. And I'd never be famous enough for that, but I don't need that. I don't have that kind of an outlook. I'm only changing the people who hear me and understand what I'm saying, but that's fine. But even after all this, especially the women that get pissed off at me who can't just appreciate the fact that we're coming from the same place, I'm still going to upload these fucking videos and say what I'm going to say. And for every woman that hates me, there's 100 who support me. So I'm really not worried about it. Long story short, the short answer is I'm not worried about it. So, and there's men who support me too, and I'm grateful for that as well. If you hear me, fine. If you know you don't fall into the category of the shit I've described in my videos and in my life, then fine. Whoops. So it's like I know good people are out there. I know good ones are out there. I know that, and I'm talking to you. So I just I believe in the people. I believe in all of us who are trying to do right. And I believe in all of us who are trying to do our best and who care. And especially those of us who are trying to break the curses, the generational trauma that's being handed down, and the patterns, and the poison that's being handed down. That has to stop because our children, and people laugh about this, their children are the future, but they really are. And we really can't fuck this up any more than it's already been fucked up. So, if this made sense to you or resonated with you, or if you vibe with this or you feel this or whatever the fuck, I'm glad. Because I'm always going to talk for people and for those of us who are out there who are afraid to talk or don't know how to say what they want to say or whatever. If you need something said and you're afraid to say it, just message me and tell me and I'll say it for you. I'll do a whole 45-minute video about it. But anyway, and I guess that's all I want to say about that. I just wanted to clear that up because, people like me, we get shunned a lot, and we get a lot of negative attention, and we get a lot of bad vibes thrown at us, and we get a lot of jealousy, and it's mostly jealousy. Especially from other women, we get a lot of jealousy because they're so fucking mad that women like me are doing shit that they're afraid to do. That they're afraid to look at, afraid to step into. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? The dark feminine and the darkness in general is feminine in itself. So it's like you're stepping into yourself. It'd be like the raindrops stepping into the ocean. What are you afraid of? You see what I mean? It's like, stop being a pussy and just do it. You want to be dark femme? Fucking be dark femme. You know, but I mean, don't hate on some other woman who has already gotten there and has already done all that and sorted herself out to some extent, you know, and is actually getting the word out and guiding people and actually getting followers and attention and getting questions asked and shit like that, and getting recognition and acknowledgement for her work, when you could be doing the same shit. You could do the exact same kind of job she does and just be putting out a different message, something that's suited and tailored to you because of something that you've had to learn from that's totally different from what she's doing. You could both still be dark femme. You know, it's like, if you want to do something, you know, quit being jealous about it and just fucking do it. You want to be athletic, you want to do yoga, you want to be healthy or be smart or whatever, quit whining and just start investing in yourself and do what you got to do to take those steps to make that happen. Instead, we got so many women, especially, who are pissed off about, oh, that bitch, she thinks she's gonna ... I don't fucking think so. You know, it's like, get over yourself. You want to waste your time like chasing men and trying to going to the gym just to get men's attention, not to lose weight, you know, because after 6 months you don't look any different, but you go in there just to get their attention and you know, see who can do whatever for you. If that's your focus, then damn it, just say so. Don't hide. Don't pretend. You know, don't be a pansy about it. Don't pretend. If that's your intention, then just say it. You know, so many women are like hiding behind these false, you know, identities or whatever. If you're shallow, then just say so. You're like, and I don't want to be cruel, but this is my whole point of the entire video, is what I just did. I called somebody out on their behavior. And I don't know who it is. It's whoever heard it and got their feelings hurt after I upload this. But it's going to be somebody. And I'm not, and the dark feminine, the real dark feminine is not here to, you know, make you cry and feel bad about yourself and shit like that and bring you down. You know, you've already brought yourself down by acting like a dumbass. Her job is to bring your attention to what you're doing to yourself and to say, so now that you know what you've done wrong to yourself, do you want to do better, or you want to keep doing this bullshit? Because now's your chance to make a change. Since now you know, whether you're pissed off or not, you see what I'm saying. And the reason you're pissed off is because your feelings are hurt, and your feelings hurt because what you're seeing is true. Because if it wasn't true, it wouldn't bug you. If you were delusional, it wouldn't bug you. But I've said stuff to women that made them furious, and but they're furious because I was right. Because I said, look, you're doing this, and it's hurting you because blah, 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 blah. Look at your life. This is the choices you've made. Look at how you are now. This is why you complain all the time about your fucking life. Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe it's because, you know, your priorities were fucked up. Because you're too afraid to look at yourself. And the reason you're doing this is because you got wounded feminine, because your mom, blah, 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 and you still haven't gotten over it, and you're 37 years old. It's time to make a change. Quit chasing men and start chasing yourself for once. And nobody wants to do that. Oh, no, I'm all sorted out. Oh, really? Oh, really? Nobody's all sorted out. What the fuck? None of our asses are all sorted out. None of our smug asses have it figured out. Some of us have figured out more than others, but that's our own path. You can't compare. Because these are women who, like, compare each other. Oh, well, that bitch, well, I'm ahead of her spiritually because I've blah, 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 and I can read the runes, and I can blah, blah, blah. Okay, bitch, good for you, shit. Great. And so it's like, you know, for women, you know, and this is the best way I can put it, they really turn everything into a dick measuring contest when it doesn't need to be that. Just because you see some bitch doing, you know, what she's doing and you think you can't, you need to do some inner work and figure yourself out, and then you can shine like she does. But your game is going to be different. So quit comparing yourself to her anyway. So that's all I want to say about that. That's my message for today, is just to get that out, because people don't realize how hard it is sometimes. And like I say, it can be lonely, and what hurts is when you lose friendships over hurt feelings. Because, like, you want to say stuff. That's how you know when somebody's not really your friend. When you say something to them and you're like, you know, you've been talking a lot lately about so-and-so, and I just think that because you blah 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 blah, and you've been through such and such, that you might be feeling that way because of blah blah, and it might help you if you looked at that, and then they'll just explode. We're never fucking talking again. Okay, so you were never my friend because you don't trust me enough to be honest with you. If we can't be honest with each other about shit that we see, if it's genuine, sincere, real and true intuition and what's the other word, when like insight, if it's genuine and it's real insight and you still shut it down, because some people just talk out of their ass, they don't know what they're talking about. They think they're playing therapist and they don't know shit. Ignore them. But somebody who's really and truly, and that they've said something that is like putting you on the spot, just be grateful that one fucking person on this planet has taken the time and energy to be honest with you about it, because nobody else is going to do that, especially if it's somebody that really knows you or has known you a long time. That person has more insight on you and knows you better and knows you well enough to say that shit and be right about it. Just be grateful. Women aren't practicing gratitude for shit like that, and they wonder why their lives are upside down. So, really this video is directed towards anybody, but especially for women, because that's usually mainly who I'm talking to. But if you're a dude and this resonates with you, I'm glad. I know there's plenty of men out there who are vibing with me and understand what I'm saying and support me and believe in me, and I appreciate you like a motherfucker. So I'm not going to give up. I know you're out there. I know you're out there. So that's all. That's my message for today. I might upload another video later if I come up with something good. Maybe something on the dark femme. I don't know. I'm really moving more towards that lately. So I'm going to be working on my course for the dark feminine. It's going to be really fucking good, just like my other fucking courses. So yeah, so that's it for now. But anyway, thanks for listening to that. I hope that helps put some clarity into your situation. If you're feeling the way I'm feeling, I'm right there with you, and that's it. So just don't give up. Just don't give up, because I'm right here with you. If y'all ever need to message me, just like tell me something, whatever, y'all know where to find me, and that's it. So I'm with you. So thanks for doing this job with me, and thanks for just being tough and being by my side, because it's gonna take all of us. That's why all of our contribution, that's why we can't give up on what we're doing, because all of our contributions is gonna matter in the end of it. And that's it. So thank you.